TruthSeekah and/or its affiliates are not responsible for any strange phenomena that may occur during or after listening to this podcast, which may include the following: heightened senses of awareness, psychic abilities, UFO sightings, alien contact, time loss, out-of-body experiences, ringing in the ears, ESP, lucid dreaming, increased synchronicities, astral projection, telepathy, stronger intuition, levitation, miraculous healings, and/or remote viewing. Please be advised to listen at your own discretion.
Won't you come and take me away? I just wanna be with you. Won't you come and take me away? To a place to walk on troubled seas, faith to stand when I don't believe. I just wanna be with you. Won't you come and take me away? I just wanna be with you. Won't you come?
You are now locked into the TruthSeekah podcast.
Gargoyles! Psychics! Everything's ungodly! Dark Savage!
Streaming live at TruthSeekah.com.
She's not a Christian!
Give it up, y'all.
Your portal to the paranormal, esoteric, and all things spiritual.
She's tampering in dark sided stuff!
And now, your host, TruthSeekah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what's going on? I'm TruthSeekah. This is the TruthSeekah podcast. Excited, delighted to be with you guys again today for this discussion. Can't really move any further without saying thank you to all the Patron supporters, everybody supporting my work, supporting my music. This podcast, it wouldn't exist without your help. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Everybody supporting via Patreon and donations and sharing out stuff. Any way that you're supporting my work, thank you guys so much. Give a quick shout out to some of the latest supporters on Patreon. I want to give a shout out to Andrew Mendoza. Thank you, brother. Elite, Michelle Miller, Laura Manson, Chrissy Silva, Christy Folks. Thank you for your donation. Chris Bars. Thank you guys for coming on board, supporting my work. You guys mean the world to me. If you would like to support this show, head on over to patreon.com/TruthSeekah. There you can find different levels of giving, anywhere from $1 to whatever you're able to do. You get access to a bunch of cool stuff. My entire discography of music is available there. 10 plus albums of music, all about the stuff we speak about on this podcast. All of that stuff is in my music. I'm continuing to work on new music as well. So every time I'm done with a song, it's uploaded there. You get access to that as soon as it's done. Extra podcasts, extra interviews, and a bunch of other cool exclusive stuff. Patreon.com/TruthSeekah. You also get access to Thursday Night School of the Mystics, which is what we're doing tonight. Thursday, 7 p.m. Central. Every Thursday, we'll be doing that. So for as little as $1 a month, you get access to that stuff. Our private Discord sessions, all that stuff. Everything's in the description. So thank you guys for all the continued support. It really means the world. Thank you. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on today's guest. Really looking forward to this conversation. We're talking about healing. We're talking about energy. We're talking about overcoming trauma, past hurts, and things like that. Energy within the body. I get messages daily about Reiki, about faith healing, like all of these things, the Kundalini. It is everything about spirituality and how it pertains to healing the body. So we're going to explore that a little bit deeper today with my guest, Mark Hernandez. Mark, welcome to the show, brother. Good to have you.
Hey, thanks, Derek. It's great to be with you, and thanks for having me.
I had an excellent podcast a couple weeks ago with someone about the emotion code. So that was really the first time that I personally have took a dive deep into that realm. I know about healing, and we've heard so many different forms of healing, different names. Like I mentioned, we got Reiki, faith healing, the laying on of hands. all of this stuff, I
Yes.
think it's in the same boat. So we explore the emotion code, but looking into
Yes.
your work a little bit, it goes beyond the emotion code a little bit with some further steps. And so I want to dive into that a little bit with you today. If you want to go ahead and give a little bit about your background, and then we'll dive into some of these other topics here. That'd be awesome, brother.
Yeah. Well, great. So, I got started in the healing world about 10 years ago. The way I got started was, at the time I was teaching at colleges and universities, and I noticed that certain patterns were repeating in my professional life. I thought it was kind of strange. So I picked up the phone and called my brother. One of my brothers is a doctor of integrative medicine in Texas. So he's a Western trained medical doctor and does much more. So I told him what was going on. With that information, he suggested that I work with an energy healer in New Mexico. At the time, I was living in Boston. So I worked with this healer over 2 months, couple sessions, and I saw some changes. The needle started to move when it had been completely stuck. So I go, this is interesting. So a couple of years later, I was a little stubborn. A couple of years later, I picked up the phone, called my brother back, said, hey, I want to learn that energy thing, because we all have the ability to do energy work. So with that information, at that point, I started training, certifications, and continued to learn something new every day. So as I said, I'm a holistic practitioner. I'm certified in the emotion code, the body code, all by Dr. Bradley Nelson, and advanced ash work. So would you like me to talk a little bit about the body code?
Let's start with just an overview of the emotion code for those
Okay.
who haven't heard that last interview. That'd be great.
Okay, sure. So the emotion code is an energy medicine tool that teaches people how to identify and release their emotional baggage. This system was created by Dr. Bradley Nelson. Dr. Nelson is a holistic chiropractor, medical intuitive. In his more than 20 plus years as a practice, in his brick and mortar practice as a chiro, he discovered that he often would adjust people, and sometimes their stuff kept coming back and back. He had to keep on doing the same adjustment. So he said, there must be something more. So in 2007, he received a divine download that basically said, identify and release people's emotional baggage, and that will help. So in 2007, he wrote and published a book called The Emotion Code. The Emotion Code is available to everyone. It teaches people can learn how to identify and release this baggage very quickly. So the emotion code, the emotions can account to up to like 85% of why people have whatever stuff it is, that mysterious back pain, the reason why they repeat the same relationship over and over again, the reasons why people get stuck in work situations that repeat too. Whatever it may be, everything's energy. So the emotion code represented a big step forward and helped a lot more people. And Dr. Nelson realized that that wasn't exactly complete. So in 2009, he received another divine download. And with this, he built on the emotion code and developed what's called the body code. So the body code includes everything in the emotion code and much more. It identifies 6 major categories of imbalances. Category 1, pathogens. Category 2, misalignments, organs, glands, chakras, and much more. Category 3, nutrition and lifestyle. In that category, the biggest thing I see is dehydration. I would say probably 80% of people are dehydrated on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I know, especially if you're in hot weather this summer, you need all the more water. It's very important to stay well hydrated. The next category are the energies. So that includes everything in the emotion code, all the negative trapped emotions, anger, grief, resentment, love, unreceived, and other types of negative energies, such as offensive energies, curses, and much more. Next category is systems. This includes everything from the organs, glands, chakras. And the last category is toxins. The biggest thing I see in all my consultations with my clients in the area of toxins are the everyday household cleaners. We know what they are, that have a lot of junk in them. Wi-Fi, cell phone, everyday household. If people ever had a mercury filling, if they had them taken out, that can leave an imprint and be causing people's stuff. So basically, the body code is very similar to the emotion code, in which the practitioner, the client comes with an issue. Let's just say it's a back pain that comes and goes, and when the client comes, it's like level 7. So with that information, the way it works, the practitioner has the client's permission, connects with source, God, however people prefer to see it, tunes into the energy field and see what's locking into place that particular issue for that person, and the body will tell. So let's just say it's the first layer is an emotional stuff. Grief, 10 years ago. I'll ask the client, do you know what that's about? Oh yeah, my grandmother died. Okay, you've been carrying around that grief for 10 years in your energy field. Let's release that. 1, 2, 3, it's gone. I keep going until the body will say either completely done with the issue or done for today, because your body will always release what it's ready for at any given time. And then with that, let's say it was that back pain, ask the client, okay, check your back now. Get up, do a little walk around, and often there's a change. The changes can often show up immediately, and in other cases over time.
So, is it an agreement thing? Is it something that we've come into agreement with, the pain, the trauma, unknowingly that's there, and once we release it, just say, look, you no longer serve me. I don't want this in my life anymore. Leave, and it's usually gone. Is it really that simple?
Yeah, your body, as I said, will release whatever it is. I, as a practitioner, can do whatever source allows me to do in any given session. So, yeah, in some ways you can say probably people may have, on a subconscious level, kind of a contract to experience certain things.
Yeah.
The logical thing, it doesn't quote unquote make sense. But yeah, if they're ready to release it, it will happen. I've seen things go. I recently worked with a client, a woman in her 50s, had this mysterious back pain for 50 plus years, kind of running in the background, like level 5 or 6. And make a long story short, when did the body code session, what showed up the biggest piece of it was this tracked back to when she was age 1. When she was 1, her mom was going through some tough stuff, a lot of transitions. So the little girl absorbed these emotions, 21 negative emotions from age 1, had been carrying them. We released them that night because the body was ready for it and God permitted it. And her back pain was gone right then. Just
by releasing it, just by, I guess, acknowledging that it's there.
Release. Let me briefly explain. Maybe your last guest that was talking about the emotion code. When the emotion code was released in 2007, the original protocol for releasing emotion, you got a magnet and swiped it over the top of your head. What's called the governing meridian. The governing meridian starts at the top of the lip, goes all the way down the spinal column. The governing meridian is kind of like the grand central station of your energy system. So by 3 swipes of the magnet, as Dr. Nelson did in 2007 for many years, 1, 2, 3, it would release from the field. Sometimes people felt it, other times they didn't, and it's gone. Now, in 2018, and this is kind of a shortcut I've developed, and probably other practitioners are doing too, in 2018, because of our intentions are so impossible, I do this gesture, 1, 2, 3, which is the same. That's kind of a shortcut for doing the magnet swipe, and it's gone. So it can be that quick.
Using the magnetic pulse of the body, right? I mean, the magnetic
through intention. I'm using a virtual magnet. Yeah. By this, 1, 2, 3, it's gone.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, have you, in your studies, have you, like, as far as like comparative theology, looking at other, fields of healing, whether it be Reiki, whether it be the faith healing and stuff like that, inner child healing, deliverance and stuff like that, it all kind of is similar to one another. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I come from the Christian background, and I've been in
absolutely,
the healing circles, and they did a lot of similar things with putting their hand on your forehead and binding it off of you and doing this type of gesture and stuff,
Yeah, well, I think what they all have in common, I think they're kind of drinking out of the same trough. I think in the sense that, one, my work and the type of work you talked about, faith-based healing, is connected with God. I think faith-based healing will actively acknowledge this is coming from God. It's not that the minister or the lay person has these extraordinary abilities. So that's 2. I'm very clear that whatever happens in session, I give credit to above. You know.
Yeah.
Two, I think both in their own way are working with the quantum energy field. For example, let's take prayer, because often when I'm talking to people, if I'm at a kind of a generic networking event and people know nothing about energy healing, what I'm talking about, and I also sense that they're kind of spiritual or religious, I'll ask them if they pray. And because I said, do you pray? And they'll say, yes. It's okay. What I do is a little bit like prayer in the sense that, let's say you have a friend that's out in California is sick. You're out in New York. Through your intentions, you send loving, healing energies to that person, and they can receive it or not. And we know there's also scientific studies that document the power of prayer. So really kind of my work too is a form, prayer is many things.
Yeah.
It's a form of energy work.
Yeah, it's awesome because like it takes it a step further than just like moving from asking God about something or begging God. Some people pray, they beg. You know, some people pray. Their prayer is a form of a conversation. You talk to God, you listen, God talks back. If you just pray or have a conversation with someone, talking with someone, and then leave and you don't give them a chance to talk, that's really a rude conversation. There's really no results after it. I mean, I think the majority of people listening have probably had that friend call. You answer the phone and they talk for 3, 4, 5 minutes. Hey, gotta go, and hang up. It's like, wow, you just talked for 5 minutes straight, and then now you have to go because something happened. And you know, it's kind of like I think a lot of people's prayer life. All right, I lost you there for a second.
Okay, yeah, sorry. What was the last thing you heard? Sorry, yeah.
The prayer of people petitioning God, and then the prayer of declaration, because as you're speaking these things, you're declaring them over yourself, over your sick friend, over your friend who's going through something. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So there's these different levels of prayer and being able to speak out the word of faith or whatever, you know?
Absolutely. I'm blanking on her name right now. Maybe it'll come to me, but there's a lot of recent books too. I mean, you know, it's a long-standing tradition, but about prayer and different forms of prayer that are most effective. I think ultimately it comes from the heart, and God knows people's heart. So I think that's probably the most important thing. But there are, as you said, other ways of structuring prayers that make them all the more effective and powerful.
So talking about the emotion code, the body code, advanced ash work. What is the ash work?
All right, advanced ash work. Okay. First of all, ash work stands for Activated Spaces Healing. This is an energy medicine tool created and developed by Rudy Hunter. Rudy Hunter is an energy worker who's been doing this for more than 30 years. He got into this. His background's very interesting. He was originally a dancer and a magician. And early in his dancing career, he had this horrific accident that he had this terrible back pain for many years. And so he went from kind of a more scientific background to all the way into woo-woo land to try to help himself in his back. And he finally did. He saw many things like Touch for Health. He trained with many people, did all sorts of body work. Anyway, this ash work is his latest iteration, something he trains people. Basically what it is, ash work is a series of usually 5 3-minute silent rounds in which the client and the practitioner are working on a specific issue. And pretty much the practitioner is holding the space for the energy work to happen. This is actually a silent process, and there are different ways it's another tool for moving stuck energy.
So we would, I've seen similar things in churches like that as well. They call it, kind of standing in proxy for that person.
Okay.
And they would even have like other people representing that person, whether it's just like a family member. They will have that person stand there, and the other people would do the energy work, the healing to that person, and send it to the person needing the help. Is that similar to what's going on?
It's kind of similar. There's kind of two parts going on. The practitioner is holding a space and doing a certain activation of a specific area of the energy body. And also sometimes the practitioner will give the client an activity to do. For example, there's one protocol in advanced ash work where, let's say there's something that's really, really stuck. And the practice is you ask the client, let's say the client has a really bad right hip, okay? It really hurts all the time. So you ask the client, okay, get an image of how you would like that right hip to feel. Feel the feeling, okay? It can be an image of you. It can be an image of a movie star. It can be Superman, whoever, okay? And so what that the client does is then for 3 minutes, will gently focus on that image in a mirror. He or she will project that image in a mirror, and the practitioner will be doing some back end work. And I've seen a lot of changes, things shift that were completely stuck. So that's just one example of ash work.
All right, let me ask you this. Maybe it would be kind of controversial for some people, but if we look at someone like Jesus, if we look at some of the ancient healers, do you think they were doing very similar techniques to this? Because I think people have this misconception when it comes to the Bible or the disciples or Jesus or whatever, that it was they just said it and it was done. They don't really see the spiritual practice. They don't see the meditation. They don't see, even when the Bible talks about going into trances and things, like a lot of people reading, they just think it's instant. They're walking down the street and they were in a trance. They don't understand the spiritual practice that even these guys knew and understood. So do you think that this was something similar that they was doing as well?
Yes, and I really like your point. I think what they were doing, and what at least I do, and I think many other practitioners do, it's a very deep spiritual work. I think as a practitioner, all of us, the clients, myself, we're all on our own paths. We're all doing our spiritual work. I'm doing my spiritual work daily. Yeah. Because there's, always more to go, and I'm happy to keep moving along the path. Things I do also as a practitioner, I clear my energy field 2 to 3 times a day. I start the morning with practices to strengthen my energetic boundaries. So I can witness things, experience things, but they don't stick to me. And the truth is, with all the things going on right now and the eclipses and all that stuff, the energies are very strong right now. So what I'm finding is that I need to recalibrate my energy field 2 to 3 times a day, because there's an expansion out, and what was originally very sound boundaries becomes not as solid. And I find myself like, ooh, I picked up this emotional stuff from who knows where at the store, but just clear it out and it's done.
There's a scripture that just kind of came to mind when you talk about that, cling to me. And there's this, I think it's in Job. It says that I will, behold all of these wicked things going on around me. Yeah. It says, but it shall by no means cling to me. I'll behold evil, wickedness going around me, but it will not cling to me. And that's kind of what it is knowing who you are, knowing your energy field. And I think Job is interesting as well, because it talks about a hedge of protection early in the book of Job. And the hedge of protection was there through prayer, through fastings, through fellowship with the Spirit, building up that auric field where you're not just walking around being a victim. You have a hedge of protection that you have to maintain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
a lot of people are realizing, like when I do my consultations, that they're kind of like these energetic sponges, because when I'm doing the sessions, I'll say, okay, you picked up some anger. Oh, that belonged to you. And they realize, they go, oh God, I'm really a big energetic sponge. I said, yeah, all of us need to practice regular, spiritual hygiene and, of having our fields. Yeah. Energy maintenance for everyone, me included.
Yep, definitely. And I think that the spiritual walk, the spiritual path is gonna like organically do that as well. Like if you're wanting to go to the next levels, it's very much so a self-examination process where who are the people in my life? What am I learning? The things I'm entertaining with my time and stuff. And you kind of, if you're ready to move to the next levels, you have to examine that stuff and make sure, because the things that were, ailing you on, level 1, You can't bring that with you on level 6. You can't bring that with
Exactly.
you on level 10. You have to deal with it and able to kind of graduate and move to the next level spiritually and in your destiny, I believe. Let me ask you this, because I've done a lot of deliverance over the years in Christian prayer circles and things like that. I've been involved in the Christian version of like some of this stuff, which they called Christian. It was deemed by the circle I was in Christian prophetic prayer counseling, and it would, you know, these different agreements that you made when you were a kid, your family lineage, you were doing all of this stuff. And it's funny, as I grow and expand, I'm seeing like the same thing is done by all of these different groups that I experienced in this particular Christian movement. But it's something that helps you. I think we want to heal everybody. We want everybody to experience freedom. We want everybody to experience the light. Not everybody does. It makes it a lot easier when the clients or the people that we're helping go through this stuff when they want it, right? Isn't that the majority of the battle, or maybe all of the battle? Like, if they want it, then it makes your work so much easier.
Oh, absolutely. For a couple things. One, everyone has free will to choose. I may think something's great, but ultimately Joe or Susie has to decide that's what they want to do. Two, also, sometimes people's subconscious programming can get in the way. On the conscious level, they say, yeah, I want to heal, I want to get better.
Yeah.
But on the subconscious level, they may be receiving some benefit by being sick.
Yeah.
You know, and they're, you know, it's subconscious. Who wants to be sick? But there may be a payoff for them. So sometimes if I've had it sometimes where I know the changes happen, but it doesn't kick in, I'll go to the next level. Is there something holding into place? And it's usually some subconscious belief, something they're benefiting by being sick.
Yeah, definitely, man. I've had to recognize that within my own self and kind of feel it coming. Being conscious of all of this stuff we're talking about is good, so that when you feel it coming, when you feel disappointment, anger, bitterness, when you feel that stuff coming, it's going to come. None of us are above reproach, but you have to know what to do with it when it comes. I remember getting hurt on the job a couple years ago, and they sent me to physical therapy. I got paid workman's comp. I was off about a month. Yeah. And I got paid. I liked it. I'm you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, part of me is creeping in. How far can I take this thing? Can I play it out? No, stop it. Where'd that come from? Hold on. You're going to be a healer, but you're known as someone who's sick. You're injured. You can't heal yourself. And then you're trying to work the system. Hold on. We can't do that. But my mind wanted to go to entertain it. Okay. I know friends who've got hurt on the job and they got large settlements. Like, how far can I take this? And I'm having to check myself in my own heart and say, hold on, I can't do that. Let me work out this physical therapy and get healed. There's a fear there that you may never get healed, that you may carry this pain out. You know, and then, well, if I do carry the pain out and never get healed, maybe they'll pay me. Or hold on, we gotta cut this stuff off. We can't be thinking like that, you know. So that's part of it, like the benefit from the pain, the benefit from the ailment. And there's things or you get to sit home every day and watch the soap operas because you're sick. And there's people that sounds great to a lot of people stuck at a crappy job, but that's not your destiny. That's not where the story ends. That's not the end goal. So it's about being able to see those things within yourself and be able to cut them off and stop them. Because if that sits in or you play that scenario out, it's going to be a lot harder to come out of that.
Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah. No.
So was there any things like that that's happened to you personally where you could have played the victim, essentially? I mean, we all do it, right? They wronged me. I'm going to let this bitterness.
Oh, yeah. I think, you know, a lot of people go through different work situations that, you know, people feel, like you said, wrong, and you can point to this or that. And then ultimately you realize, you know, I'm just really holding myself back. And as you said, really, I'm destined to move on to something else, and to really release it. And my mom's always talked about this. She's actually, I think, listening this morning, and she's a very strong prayer warrior herself. And she's always told me, talked about forgiveness,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's easier to, say and you want to feel it, but sometimes you're just not quite ready to completely let go. But really, when you truly forgive yourself, forgive others, you're ready to genuinely move on.
I think that there's scriptures in the Bible. I don't think it contradicts anything you're saying. I think it kind of confirms it, talking about forgiveness and if you want to move forward. And there's just so many scriptures that are like little bitty keys and hints and stuff. And it says like, if you want to be forgiven, you have to give forgiveness. Like, and I think that's a universal principle. It's like whatever we're walking in, whatever we're doing unto others is going to be done unto us, and I mean it goes across the board with support. We're looking for people to support us. We're looking for people to open a door or opportunity, but yet we have doors of opportunity that we're not helping others, and other people who are needy around us who want help, we're not helping them, but we want help from others. So I think it's a universal principle when it comes to walking in for forgiveness and walking in the light. It's like we have to make sure that we're doing this stuff too, that we're confessing our faults and our wrongs and not trying to hold it over people's heads when they've wronged us. Or you take that for years, and we heard a poet just the other day, and it was powerful for my wife, but he talked about people, somebody who's wronged you and you've had this offense, this bitterness in you for years, and you're waiting for an apology. Years later, once that apology comes, you're waiting for this to happen and it's still there. It might not mean anything when it comes. You have to get over it. You have to nip that stuff in the bud and keep moving.
Yeah, because ultimately, what's the saying that, it's like, by holding on to the anger or the bitterness of something that happened, it's, you think you're giving the poison pill to someone else, you're really taking it yourself.
Yep. Yeah, it's drinking a deadly poison and hoping that someone else gets
sick.
The
person will get the benefit, or not the benefits, but the effects.
They've already forgotten about it. They haven't thought twice about what they did. Yeah. And it's been ailing you for 20 years, 10 years, whatever the case is. You have to let that stuff go.
Absolutely.
Wanting to move on a little bit because there's a lot of stuff on your website about animals. I've got a story. So the people who led me through this Christian deliverance, they were really spiritual people, really deep, really well versed in the Bible. They had the anointing, power, prayer. When they prayed, stuff happens type deal, They led me through all this, and we all looked up to these people. They had a cat that died. A cat got hit by the car, was laying in the road, and we thought that we was about to see a miracle. We thought that they were going to lay hands on the cat would get well, and these people who walked in this power, he said, we'll get another one. And kind of like the cat was still alive. And it really shocked us, like, wow, you have this such compassion for people. We thought we was going to see a miracle here, that you was going to extend that faith towards the animals. And so you deal a lot with animals who are going through ailments and things like that. Talk a little bit about the work that's being done on the animals.
Yeah. So animals, when people bring me their pets, typically they bring me for two main reasons. The first main reason, I call them the unwanted behaviors. For example, the cat knows where the litter box is and starts going all over the house.
Yeah.
Or maybe the dog has separation anxiety. So those are one big category. The other category people bring me is sometimes there is something physical going on. For example, a couple of years ago, I was working. Another practitioner said, "Can you help my can you help my cat?" I said, "What's going on with your cat?" I said, "Well, I've already taken the cat to the vet. There's an intestinal blockage. Do the surgery. It'll be $2,600, and I'm not going to do that. I don't have the money to do the surgery. Do you think you can help?" I said, I always tell people with situations like that, I always tell them, first, take your pet to the vet, because I'm not a vet. What I do is not in any shape or form veterinary care. So, but take your pet to the vet. If you know exactly where you stand, I can see what's possible at the energetic level. So I worked with this cat about a 40-minute session with the body code. It was like on a Thursday. So we'll see. It felt like about 42% improved, but is that enough to help with an intestinal blockage? So I didn't know. So couple days later, she emails me, said, okay, the first 2 days after that, the cat wasn't looking good, still not drinking water, still not eating. But then the next day, the cat started eating, drinking water, and has been fine since then. Once again, I'd like to emphasize that I facilitate what happens, but, you know, the changes come from creator, source, God, however people prefer to see it. And that's what was meant to be for that case.
Yeah. That's the understanding too. I think it helps you a little bit once you understand that, is the fact that God's source wants everyone to be healed, wants everybody to be whole. But I think that there are ailments, there are things, like you said, contracts. I mean, that's a big one that we have to learn from to move to the next levels. And I think, you know, I always talk about demons and the shadow work and, you know, some of the doors that we've opened. I think all for good reason at the end of the day, if we're learning from it, right? People want to rebuke their demons. You know, Christianity, we want to cast out everything bad. If we don't like it, you know, if it's causing us discomfort or dis-ease. But I think we learn from that as well. I think that, you know, for one, a huge one would be learning compassion and empathy for others, for the things that you've been through. Like if you've been through an abusive relationship, you may learn that type of person. You may know what to do and not to do in a relationship. But then when you come out of it, you have this empathy and compassion for people who are being abused and who are in abusive relationships. So we try to pull the good out of everything. So I really believe that these contracts and things, we're in these bad situations that we think are going to destroy us. I think in the end, we have to learn from them, or we're going to continue to repeat them.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something I like to add. And one thing I really love about the body code is there's a strong piece of spiritual medicine. And what I mean by that, included in the body code is it'll track if a curse is locking a place people's issue. And I always tell people a curse isn't, you know, the witches sitting on the cauldron, you know, doing that. What it is, it can be several things. It can just be like a teacher, like in second grade, saying, you're never going to amount to anything.
Yeah.
That could be like an energetic curse.
Yeah.
Or maybe a medical doctor tells someone, you have 2 weeks to live.
Yeah.
That's a curse. Again, I completely understand why doctors by law have to make those kind of statements. At the energetic level, it can be like a curse. The other thing I do, if it's an issue, is I remove entities and spirits from the field. So I think that's one strong piece of the body code. And I'd also like to give a shout out, because there's a woman named Dr. Karen Can. She's based in upstate New York. She has a program called the Spiritual Medicine Digest. And she talks about all sorts of entities and removal of curses. And I think her work's very powerful. I also incorporate it into my work.
Yeah, that's awesome. When it comes to entities, when it comes to casting out demons, I mean, you know, when we get a bigger look at the Bible, it talks about these demons, right? It talks about these spirits.
Yeah.
But it talks about them, which a lot of people overlook, as just simply being, and you could call them entities in the spirit realm, whatever you want, but they're strongholds in the mind that form what we would call in the Christian realm ungodly beliefs, is what they call them. These beliefs about yourself that, just the example you just said, your teacher said you'll never amount to anything. Your parents said this about you. Your parents laugh at you when you fail. Like little things that opens the doors for these type of entities or attachments of these ungodly beliefs. And the Bible simply calls them thought patterns, thought forms, and strongholds that we have to get rid of. And so it gets real deep and mystical with entities and casting out demons and binding spirits. But it all comes down to the way you're thinking and the thoughts that you're entertaining within your psyche, right?
Absolutely. And when I run across that stuff, entities, spirits, I always, you know, call in the archangels, Gabriel, Michael, Raphael, Zadkiel, to assist me to remove those. So I'm always very clear that, you know, this is strong spiritual work and we're going to remove them. Yeah,
I had the privilege, I guess, of dealing with some of that stuff as a teenager. Just this strong urge. I got born again at the age of, I think I was 12 when I got born again. And it was a beautiful encounter with God. And I remember being outside cutting the grass by myself, praying, you know. It's when your subconscious is, you're doing something repetitive that you know what I'm saying, that communication is open for influence or ideas or prayer even. So I'm cutting the grass. I'm going to be here a while. I'm talking to God. And I just start feeling like God or the Holy Spirit is telling me, you have a demon. I'm like, what are you? I don't know much about this. This is inward. You have a demon. And it's because of your mom. Your mom said that you're stupid. You'll never amount to anything. And I'm like, this is new. And I feel like I'm communicating with the Holy Spirit. I didn't make this up. I go to a prayer meeting. I think it's either that night or the next night. And I pull a couple guys to the side and said, hey, I was cutting the grass and I felt like God told me I had a demon. What can we do? And they said, well, okay, we're going to pray for you. And they said, we may see something manifest, is what they told me. I thought that, because I watched a lot of movies, I was still young. I thought a demon or a gremlin or something was going to jump out of me and run down the hallway. They said something was going to manifest. I don't know what to expect. So they put their hands on me. It's two guys. Everybody else is in another room. They're praying at a prayer meeting. They start praying. My body locks up. I start screaming and crying, and anger and rage just comes out of nowhere. A bunch of people running there. They start praying.
4 hours. Wow.
Yeah, nothing happened. I was screaming so much that the blood vessels was popping all over my face. It looked like I had chicken pox. I had red dots all over my face, and so 3 or 4 hours, nothing happened. Crying, tears. I done cried all the tears I could, and nothing's coming out. Finally, they called one of their pastors over about 2 a.m. to come by to pray with me because they're not getting anywhere with this spirit that was within me. Pastor comes over nonchalantly, sits down on the couch. I'm laying on the ground crying, so weak. He's like, hey, Derek, if you want to let this thing go, because I told him it was dealing with my mom. If you want to let this thing go, just say, Mom, I forgive you and I love you. And I couldn't say it. And I just started crying even deeper when I tried to say it. Couldn't say it. But he said, look, if you want healing, you want to let this thing go, that's all you have to do. And I finally got the courage up and I meant it and I said it. It broke. Instantly, it broke. It left. It was gone. All of those 3-4 hours of warfare and intense. I mean, they were putting holy water on me and drawing crosses, holding a Bible on me. You know, all of this stuff that you see in the movies and we just try to do. None of it worked. And it was just simply forgiving my mother for those word curses that were spoken against me and that open door that came in. That easy. You know what I'm saying? And it was, we've seen that a lot over the years, is understanding the point of forgiveness and how did this spirit or thought get entry into your being. And it was a thought form that came in. Yes. Have you seen anything similar like that? I know if you've been
I think, again, so you were 12, so that was about 20 years ago for you?
Yeah.
Okay. So, in 2018, I think we're fortunate because people have asked me, when you remove entities or spirits, is it kind of like The Exorcist? I said, thankfully, no. And I think as I've talked to people that were doing entity or spirit removal, like in the 70s and 80s, it was like people had to be like physically big because it was like a physical warfare when you were. Yeah. Fortunately, I think today, doing the spiritual work, I think it's can be, I'm not saying it always is, can be a relatively quick process when you have the archangels and spiritual beings that are assisting with removal. So again, I'm not saying that's the only way, but I think it seems to be pretty quick. And what I notice when I release curse energies or people have entities, sometimes they have 200 entities in them. It could be thought forms, could be spirits, whatever it is. They feel different very quickly, like on the spot. They go, oh, I feel lighter. They feel the shift. So it's always big when you remove that type of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. If you understand the science of it, then you don't have to you don't have to do the song and dance. We could just go right to the end. What if that pastor was there at the very beginning of something like that, who already understood what was going on? And like I said, it was definitely a learning curve for everyone there, a learning curve for me in the future. If I see something like that going on, we try to get to the point of entry and not have to, I've seen a lot of crazy stuff. And like you said, the whole, people snatching people up and the big guys intimidating. It gets really weird in some of those circles, but it's interesting. It's interesting. I think that we're dealing with the realm that is unseen. I mean, we see it in the physical. We see the manifestations and the repercussions of those type of spiritual attachments and things. But as far as what they look like, how they move around, and how they come out, there's a lot of different ways.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, even the scriptures talks about. There's a scripture says that like some only come out through prayer and fasting. Like you have to be dedicated to starve this thing out. You're feeding something that you're trying to get rid of, whether it's an addiction, a pornography addiction, a food addiction, whatever the case is. You're saying you want to get rid of it, but you're continuing to be around the situation and entertain it,
Exactly what you said. I want to add with what you said about addictions, what I've seen with the body code. Most of the time, if whatever addiction, drinking, smoking, whatever it is, or shopping, excessive shopping, there's usually always entities involved. I was always told that sometimes when I'm doing my sessions, it'll come up that, people were really drunk one time. Again, I have no personal judgment about it. What I know is that sometimes when people are in those states of mind, if they're really, really out of it, they're not in their body. And that's when the entities and spirits can enter.
When I was reading your initial email to me about coming on the show, you talked about being able to do some healing on the show.
Yes.
I have someone in the comment section right now who's talking about their cigarette addiction, or this can be so when you do these, could this, especially on an open platform like this, it could be for that specific person or someone who listens to this broadcast a year later, a week later, who is still struggling with that type of addiction. Is that how that works? That it's kind of universal?
The way it works is I'll be working specifically with this person.
Okay.
If future listeners can say, take what applies to me, they'll receive the benefits of what is relevant to them. Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say this. So this person is in chat right now, and, they're talking about that. Now, they didn't say that they want healing, so I know you can't read this. So I'm going to, before we move further, we can continue to talk about this. But Jesse, if you would like work done for your cigarette addiction, let us know, and we'll move forward with that. Just let us know here in the chat. We'll move forward with it. But like you said, it's like there's something about recording this session, the prayers. I get messages from videos I've done literally 2 years ago. Oh my God, I'm in tears. I felt the energy when you prayed. This is a 2-year-old recording, and it's beautiful. Even like you can watch ministers on TV or whatever and watch old recording. You feel the spirit. You feel a connection there. That's how powerful it is.
Yeah, I set the intention that to encode it with the frequencies that will benefit people, the healing energy. So people that can take what applies to them. Yes.
The intention, and people literally can feel it. I mean, I do that with my music. You put the intention within the music as they're listening. They're taken to deeper realms. Healing's being done. Creativity is sparked. All of this stuff is going as I'm building it. I'm putting these codes within that stuff with that intention. It's beautiful. And whatever we create, we bless it with those intentions, or we curse it. Cursed items and creating negative music on the opposite end of that spectrum as well. It's true.
Yeah, that's funny you mentioned that, because that's one thing in the body code. There is an offensive energy about basically songs that are encoded with like negative messages, like kill yourself, or Satan is God, or really bizarre stuff. But it does come up from time to time in my consultations. Usually people are like in their 40s, and one of the layers, not the only layer, but we'll take back to music. So what were you listening to when you were 16? They tell me. I said, I'm hearing this. These types of things. Does it make sense? I go, oh yeah, I was listening to that stuff. So it's like you said, sometimes pretty wild, but
it was saying it's my story. Definitely, music played a part of it. And so for like one thing to be true, now there's a lot of study on. There's a name for it, but for one thing to be true, the opposite has to be true as well. So for you to be able to find healing through listening to music and find healing through blessings being spoken over you, the opposite has to be true. You should be able, there's going to be curses that are spoken over you through people speaking, dark sayings over you and listening to dark music. It has to be true. For one thing to be true, the opposite has to be true as well. So so far, Jesse Lee and Christy Lee both would like healing for their cigarette addictions, and they're open to receive. that
Okay.
energy.
So Jesse's a woman? Jesse Lee
Yes,
and
both
Christy?
of them are women.
Both
Yes.
are, okay. Okay. Did they add any I can work it, but did they add anything like how long they've had this cigarette addiction for Christy or Jesse or
Lifelong, pretty much is what
lifelong?
one
All
of them
right.
said. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just going to follow the energy. I'm going to be using as the entry point Christy Lee. Okay, that's what I'm getting is you to start with her, and again, and then Jesse can either take what applies to her. I'm going to start with Christy, and let's go from there. Does that sound good?
Great.
Okay, so let me pull up my body code. All right, so I have Christy Lee's permission. So I'm testing her that she's energetically testable, means she's properly hydrated and her spine's aligned. I'm going to be testing on myself this morning. And as always, I say a prayer above to God, source, because that's where the changes come from. Ask for some help. Okay, so for Christy Lee, we're just calling it the cigarette addiction. So what I'm calling that's pulling up the energetic structure for her, what's locking into place. And I'm going to ask her body, reason for this issue for her. Okay, energies. Okay, an offensive energy. Okay, first thing that's coming up for Christy Lee is a curse. So I'm looking at the body code. So this is a negative energy placed on your field, designed to cause harm. Okay, so she received this from an entity. How long? More than 5, 4, 4, 3. Okay, at least this layer is tracking. She's had it for 3 years. Do I need to know anything else? Can I safely release this curse energy? Yes. So I'm going to call them the archangels, Gabriel, Michael, Raphael, Zadkiel. Thank you. So in the name of the Creator, all there is, we command that this curse energy be lifted from Christy's field now, up and out. We're sending it to the 7th plane, will be transmuted into love and light, and can never hurt anyone else, any time, dimension, space, ever again, up and out. Okay, I'm going to send in some pink healing energy in the field. Anywhere that needs a little extra love and attention now. Good. Okay, we removed that curse energy. So I'm going back out to my charts and seeing reason for this cigarette addiction for Christy. Another energy. Something emotional. Let's see. A trapped emotion. I'm looking at my charts. There's a chart of 60 emotions from the emotion code. That an AABB 2, 4, 6. Okay, the emotion that's showing up right now is a trapped emotion of worthlessness. Worthlessness. Does this belong to Christy Lee? Yeah. Do I need to know more about it? Can I safely release it? Okay, I'm just going to release it from a field. Good. Okay, is there something else emotional? Yeah, BBA 2, 4, 6. Okay, the next thing I'm tracking is overwhelm. A trapped emotion of overwhelm. Belong to her? Yeah. Do I need to know anything more about this overwhelm? No. I safely release it? Okay, I'm going to release it from her field. Good. Something else emotional? Yeah, AB2. Okay, the next thing that's showing up in her field is low self-esteem. Low self-esteem. Does this belong to her? Yes. Do I need to know anything more about it? No. May I safely release it? Yeah. So I'm going to release that low self-esteem energy. Good. All right. Something else emotional? No. Okay. So I'm going back up to my charts, body code charts. Reason for this issue? Okay. Toxins. EM spectrum. EM spectrum, please. Okay, the next thing showing up is microwave. That's a microwave oven. If she were on the line, I'd ask her. She may have one or not, but the truth is they're all around us, the stores, the restaurants. So I'm going to, okay, this microwave frequency is like this big. So we're just going to release it from her field. Good. All right. Smoking addiction reason. Toxins, another toxin. Let's see. Heavy metals. Okay, I'm tracking mercury. Yeah, sure. Feels like maybe at some point she may have had mercury fillings. And also the truth is mercury is in other things such as vaccinations. Yep. Or maybe if we certain types of fish that can have mercury. So we're going to get all the knowns and unknowns of this mercury, and it's like this big, and we'll release it from our field. And I say to release it. Yeah. Okay, let's release it. Good. All right. Okay. Cigarette. Yeah, this addiction, reason for this? Toxins. EM spectrum. Okay, the next thing that's showing up in her field in the body code is called scalar energy, HARP. Let me tell you in a nutshell what HARP energy is. Basically, the US government and probably many other foreign governments have different weather modification programs. In the case of the US, this is based out of Alaska, where they're beaming frequencies to change the weather patterns for nefarious purposes. So does she have this in her field? Yeah. Now release it. Yeah, so I'm going to release this HARP energy from her field. Good. Okay, right. Cigarette addictions. Reason? Misalignments. Okay, track something in one of her organs. Let's see which one. Organs, please. All right. Oops. All right. Okay, it's tracking to her colon. Is her colon happy? Okay, her colon's not happy. Let's see energetically why that's the case. Toxins. Toxins, please. All right. EM spectrum. Okay, next thing showing up is radiation. Could be over the years, maybe she had some dental or medical x-rays, or the truth is there's also just a lot of radiation in the environment, like stuff from Fukushima and much more. So we're just going to get the knowns and unknowns of this radiation. It's like, oh, big. And let's release it from the field. Good. Okay, is that colon happy? No. Let's see what else. Toxins. Okay, dental toxicity. Okay, what's showing up is a cavity. So it feels like there might be a cavity. Let me see, is it on the top, bottom, right, left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it feels like about on the bottom, about bottom left, about 5 teeth back, from the front. Feels like there might be a cavity. So what I tell people is when it's showing up energetically, I always tell them, get it checked with your dentist. Obviously, I'm not a dentist. You don't want to let that fester. I'll get it checked out, and I'm going to ask Source if I can kind of like do an energetic filling for her for now, but please go to the dentist. Yeah, so I'm going to download the frequency of exactly what she needs just to support it until she can go to the dentist, hopefully soon, get that checked out, and maybe it's time for a dental checkup too in general. Give it to her. Good. All right, is that colon happy? No. Also, the teeth, let me just add real quickly, the teeth are important because each one of your teeth is connected to an area of your body. So sometimes if you have like an infection, it can affect that area of the body. So yeah, so have it checked out by a dentist. All right, okay, reason for this issue, colon happy? No. Circuits and systems? Let's see. Circuits and systems, please. Chakras. Okay, the energy centers in your body. Let's see which one. Okay, it's taking me to the heart chakra. Let's see why that's unhappy. Toxins. EM spectrum. Okay, the first thing that's showing up is cell phone radiation. Again, the towers, our cell phone. We basically marinate it. In all my sessions, this comes up, so let's just release it. Good. All right. Heart chakra happy? No. Toxins. Toxins, all right. EM spectrum. All right. Okay, the next thing that's showing up are the EMFs, the electromagnetic frequencies, including all the Wi-Fis that are around us, that's around us. Huge. So let's just release it. Is it? No, yeah. Yeah, sure. Good. Okay. Heart chakra happy? No. Let's see what else. Coming up is aluminum. If she were on the line, I'd ask her what type of deodorant she uses. Often people that are buying store brand deodorants have aluminum and go in the body, or if people are using aluminum cookware, or we're just going to get all the knowns and unknowns. Ooh, it's huge. She has like an energy ball of aluminum like this. What is that? Okay, good. All right, heart chakra. Happy? No. Energies. Okay, another offensive energy. Let's see what this one is. Okay, what's showing up now in the body code is a saboteur energy. This is basically sometimes if we have some type of disagreement with another person, they can unconsciously like put an energy weapon in our field. So do you have a saboteur? Does Christy have a saboteur energy? Yeah. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, more than 6? 6. Do I need to know anything more about these? Can I safely release these? No. Okay. So I need to know something else before I can release them. Let's see. Toxins. EM spectrum. Okay, color. So in the body code is showing up, she's deficient in a color. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Violet's often associated with the crown chakra. How low is she on her violet? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 19, 21. Okay, she is 69% low in her violet. So let's see why that's so high. I've seen that before. I've seen 95. So let's see. Reason for this violet being so low. Energies. Allergy or intolerance. Okay, I'm tracking an intolerance, usually like some type of food intolerance. So let's see if I can pull it up. Let's see. Okay, it feels like, and if I had her on the line, I'd ask her, but it feels like maybe she has some issues with mushrooms. Yeah. So we're going to get all the knowns and unknowns of this mushroom. If I'm missing something else, let's just clear it out over a field. Okay, good. Do I need to know anything else about the violet? Anything else? Can I reset her now? Okay, so I take it I have her permission? Yeah. So what I'm going to do is download from Divine Source the frequency of violet and give her, she's 69% low. So let's download it and give it to her now. Whew. Good. Okay. Okay. Now I release that saboteur energy. Nope. Still not yet. So let's see what else is behind those 6 saboteur energies. Another energy. Let's see. Okay. In the body code, this is taking me to addictive heart energy. So this is an energy created out of the heart's desperation to find love, joy, and interesting. This addictive heart energy can be an attractive driving force behind addictions of all kinds. Okay. So do you have an addictive heart energy? Yeah. Let's see why that is. I'm going to ask her body to show us. Nutrition and lifestyle. Malnutrition. Okay, this is a spiritual malnutrition. In the body code, it includes spiritual malnutrition. So I'm going to ask her body, is she spiritually malnourished? Yes. It's one of the, I'm looking at some things to see what would be beneficial for her. Okay, what feels like it'd be beneficial is what comes through in the body code. It's called reading scriptures. Reading scriptures, but it could be any type of other inspirational reading. So it feels like, yeah, she's gotten away with from something that she enjoys reading. So, it feels like it may be the Bible or something else. So, okay, I'm getting it would be beneficial if she chooses to spend about 20 minutes a day all at one time. Okay, like 10 in the morning, 10 in the evening, reading some type of the Bible scriptures. Feels like maybe she should do that, or there's something else that's inspirational to her. About 20 minutes. So I'm going to ask her, I have permission. I'm going to give you her the frequency. In the meantime, the frequency of exactly what she needs for this, what came up as scripture reading, and give it to her. Good. All right. Okay. Do I need to know anything else about this addictive heart energy? Anything else hidden? May I release it? Okay. I'm going to release this addictive heart energy. Shut up. Whew. Okay. I'm sending in some green healing energy into the field. Anywhere that needs a little extra love and attention now. Whew. Good. All right. Okay, now, so can I safely release that saboteur energy? Okay, now I'm given permission from source to release that saboteur energy, and it's humongous. Let's send some golden healing energy in the field. Anywhere that needs a little love and attention now. Good. All right. Okay. Okay. Heart chakra. Is that happy now? Okay. I'm getting the heart chakras happy, so I'm going to reset it. Okay. Okay. Colon happy now? Yes. So I'm going to reset the colon. Okay. Going back out to the main issue, which was the cigarette addiction. Anything else ready to be released now? Anything hidden? Anything else to be released now? Okay, I'm getting a no. Hopefully she's listening to the broadcast. I'd encourage her right now if she can stand up and walk around, do a gentle stretch for like 5 or 10 seconds. And after she's completed that, if she can just write you a note in the chat box if she's there to let you know if she feels the same or different.
Awesome. I felt it.
Okay.
Universal.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
I felt it. Getting some comments from Jessie Lee was feeling it as well, who was wanting to give that up. So I think some of the stuff that you're calling out may have been for her as well. So getting some comments there.
Right. There probably some overlap or whatever, but she took, whenever you say take what applies to me, you'll get the benefits.
She said she feels different. Thank you.
Cool.
Feels different. Thank you. Yeah, sometimes, we want those things in our life. Sometimes it's a lot harder to get rid of. We have to go down deep and see why it's there, because it's an easy escape. Like being free, walking in freedom. Sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes we have to. It's a battle. Like it really is a spiritual battle. When the Bible talks about spiritual warfare, and so it's a daily thing. And I do think that there are easy way out, whether it is smoking, because smoking is that instant gratification, pornography addiction, instant gratification, all of these things after you've had a long stressful day, instant cracking open that beer, instant gratification, whatever it is. So there's just those things that we have to get out of our life, and it can be hard because it's always there in the back of your head. It's funny too, because like I've been in prayer circles, or I've been around people and had it happen to me, but you're getting prayer for something that you want healing from. Yeah. But deep down, that, hey, I can't wait to do it again. Like it's still there. Right. Like even while you're getting the prayer, even while you're getting the energy done, that I can't wait to take that next puff. Like that's the thought. Like that's the thing that's creeping. You got to catch that thing. That's the thing. That's because you can feel it. It comes up. You know what I'm saying? Sure,
absolutely. And let me say too, with whatever situation, cigarette addiction or whatever, there are times it will all come off in one session. That can happen. Other times it can be over a period of time, because your body will release whatever it's ready for. And let me make the other point, because I think it's important, because sometimes people think if only I want it enough, I can will myself to change.
Yeah.
And if you, as we know, about 5 to 10% of our world's at the conscious level, the rest is at the subconscious level, about 90%. So if there are all these other programs running in the background, they're going to sabotage that conscious desire to do something.
Yep. Yeah, I'm trying to read these comments here.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure. Go ahead.
definitely. No, it's beautiful. I'll say this: it's what you're doing, the energy healing, dealing with those attachments and cords and pushing energy, moving energy. When I went through that deliverance session as a believer,
Sure.
one of the most amazing days was in my life was when I gave my life to Christ and I began that walk, and that old person died or began dying. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
There was so much that fell off instantly. Like you're saying, instantly. I'm
Yes.
cutting the agreements here, but there was still a bunch of stuff that was holding on. Like in the
Yeah.
churches, we're told that, hey, because we've been in churches services where people have been through this same type of deliverance and have their lives changed from it. And
Sure.
we've been in services where they would scoff at it and have the whole congregation laughing at something that was near and dear to our hearts. And they have this notion that come to the cross and it's just Jesus, just Jesus. You don't need Jesus and you don't need Jesus and deliverance. You don't need Jesus and hypnotherapy. You just need Jesus, and this is what they preach. But these people are still bound up with sin and addictions and hatred and bitterness and racism. All this stuff is still in them. And I've been in those services where they scoff at these deliverance ministries and stuff, and they say all you do is come to Christ and you're good, everything's fine, and that's not the case. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it is Jesus and Jesus is a great foundation to build upon. But we've been through similar experiences like that, and when I went through my deliverance, there was a lot of stuff that fell off. Fits of rage, anger. Like I would just go into fits of rage and punch holes in the wall. I remember grabbing the steering wheel when I got angry, trying to wreck my wife off the road. Just weird fits of rage that until I went through these sessions, I didn't know that I thought I was free. You know what I'm saying? Until you experience deeper levels of freedom. And it's beautiful. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, often things will come off in layers. I even see that in my healing sessions with other issues, because sometimes with changes, the body knows what it's ready for. You don't want to overwhelm the system. I always use the analogy of people that maybe do a physical detox. Maybe they haven't done anything for 40 years. All of a sudden they get on this physical detox kick where they're not just going to do one program, they're going to do 5 at the same time. They overload their systems and they're in bed very sick because they did too much too quickly. Their body wasn't ready to let go of that at once.
There's comments here. Someone says, I think it's someone named Brittany, says that felt so comforting and relaxing and loving. I almost can't put it into words that it deserves. I felt the same thing. I was there with my eyes closed and felt like you were doing the work over me. I do think that the energy is there as we connect with it and as we have the things going on in our life and the heavy metals and the Wi-Fi and stuff like that around us, all of this stuff that's messing with us. As you apply it to your life and as it applies to you, I think that you can benefit from it.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you this. So if we was to go into, and I got a bunch of people, they're just like, hey, let them do some work on me. And there's a bunch of them. But let me ask you this. So you are open for private sessions. Let's go ahead and put that out there. If you want to go ahead and plug your website now, and we'll do it again here in a few minutes. But let people know that you are available for one-on-one sessions too, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I offer private consultations by exactly what you saw by phone or video, Skype and Zoom. And so if people are interested, have them give me a call or send me an email. Yeah.
What were some of the feelings that you were feeling within you guys? I noticed that you were doing the you were blowing.
Yes.
And my mind, just the way I'm built, and it's just this podcast. Jesus blew upon his disciples, and they received the Holy Spirit. Pushing, spirit, breath, pneuma. What's with the breath and the blowing that you were doing? It's really
I just know I'm moving energy. It's just like, woo, something's moving through me because
and you can feel it as well, right?
Yeah, I feel like, ooh. And sometimes as I'm releasing things, I'll, like I said, I just like, ooh, I knew that was big. Like, oh, yeah, kind of like a little jolt.
After those deliverance sessions that me and it was several friends that went through it. And I'll say this: there was people that we got so much out of it. It was breakthrough. We were begging our friends, "You got to do it," because we knew they were dealing with things. Look, you got to go through it. And they went through it because it worked for us, and they went through it, and it really didn't do the same for them. Like they just did it because we told them to or asked them to, so they didn't get the same results. And but I have friends who have went through it, and the whole breath thing comes up, and it got kind of weird because they would do it mid-sentence. After that, they would start coughing like they were choking.
Yeah.
They would call, and they termed it hacking up a demon is the term that you'd be talking to them, or they would listen to a sermon that was really deep, and they'd just start, and subconsciously they were releasing that spirit or whatever. It got really weird, but it was the breath there, and it was the yawning and things like that, and so I definitely see the connection there with the breath, the pneuma, the spirit,
Yeah, and actually, if you just think about, even broadly speaking, about the importance of our breath, when we're under stress, our breath is very shallow. So there are a lot of really cool breathing exercises just to get people more grounded and centered too on the everyday plane. So, the breathing is very important. And I encourage people, if they're really stressed, tune into their breathing, what's like, and see if they can just do the deep breaths to kind of get them back.
It's so powerful. Yeah. I mean, there's so much to be done with breathing. It's so really so much. If you, because there's a lot of people who like to meditate and to get into ecstatic realms and things like that. And I've done it so many times just by emptying out my mind and just focusing in.
Sure.
But if you understand the breathing, that can actually accelerate that or produce those trance-like states by changing your breathing patterns as well. It's definitely add that to your regimen. Christy Lee is asking, she said, can you ask him if the sabotage energies was projected energies or was it created by me?
Let me ask. Okay. No, these were projected. I believe there were 6. I'm just going to ask for like the most important one. It was from another female. She may know this person or not. She shouldn't have to say the name, but often when I'm doing, have people directly on the line, I'll ask them, who this, and usually they will, someone at work or a family member, they usually know.
Are you feeling, even with the breath, and there's other people that says every time that you blew the breath, they felt like it was the perfect time and they felt something loose. They felt something leave. Are you feeling a euphoria when you do that? A lot of times you can feel, it's a beautiful feeling. Like maybe you can feel the healing, you can feel the release. Are you feeling things like that in your body that's almost addictive because it feels good? Are you feeling something like that?
Well, more than anything else, when I'm doing the breathing, it just feels like I know something release and it feels more peaceful. Yeah. The field feels clearer. That's how I would call it.
So clearer. There's you don't feel a euphoria that runs through you when you.
Yeah, because I'm pretty much connected with source, and I'm following the energy trail and just kind of in the moment of kind of like the Toucan Sam from Fruit Loops, just follow the trail, follow the nose wherever it goes. Yeah. I'm really more in that, just going with the flow rather than reflecting on how I'm feeling as I'm doing it.
I'm trying to relate. I'm the facilitator, but Christy Lee is in tears. She's crying right now. She wants to know, is it from her family?
Okay, the saboteur energy?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. At least one layer of it. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. She says she has an understanding of the first attack and things like that. So yeah, definitely getting healing from that. Cool. I feel a euphoria from it, right? When we're doing energy healing, like I can feel the work that you were doing. I was able to feel it a while ago as you tune in. I mean, a lot of times when we're talking about the breath, you can do that by yourself. Like if you're having a rough day, close your eyes, take that deep breath. I feel like when the breath comes to a pinnacle, and I can feel it release through the body. It's a sense of euphoria. It's a sense of peace and oneness as kind of like that work's being done. And so when someone's praying for you, laying on of hands, removing energy, whatever you want to call it, Reiki, all of it, it's a sense of peace that's there. And then so I found too, like as we're doing the work, and I have other people who feel the same way. It's like they feel like they're getting healing because they're able to tap into the spirit as they're healing other people, like something's happening to them as well.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think. Yeah, no, I mean, I always feel energized after doing my healing sessions. I mean, there's sometimes, I'll, if I had a full day with many consultations, I'm a little bit tired, but I feel good. I mean, I feel peaceful. I feel clear, and it's very gratifying, very grateful to be able to do this work that I know helps people. I mean, that's why I do it.
It's very powerful. It's very needed. Is this something that somebody has to be drawn to, or they can just try it? Like most of us, like if you're sick, you're gonna hopefully look for a doctor, right?
Yeah.
Can anybody just say, "Hey, I'm willing to give it a shot"? Like, does it work like that as well?
Here's the way it works. For the most part, the people that come see me and book a consultation, usually they're already in the holistic space. They're already doing them. They could maybe go to a naturopathic doctor, go to chiro, acupuncture, organic eating, yoga, something along those lines. Whatever they usually do, for whatever reason is not working, that's when they'll come to see me. The other category of people that come see me are, I call the people that may be skeptical, but they're willing to leave the door cracked this much. Okay? It doesn't have to be a lot.
Yeah.
Now, if they're skeptical and they decide they want to shut the door and put 5 feet of cement over it, I'll tell them, I won't be able to help you because, you have free will. You've made a choice, and that's fine. I'm not here to convince you otherwise. So I can work with people. People, again, just leave that crack and be open to a possibility of change. I can work with that.
So, in other words, mustard seed of faith, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Just leave me an opening where you're open to the possibility. You can be skeptical because from time to time, I will get people that are skeptical. I said, just leave. If you leave the door cracked, I can work with you. But if you shut it, save your time and money. Yeah,
definitely. Because those who want the healing, like we talked about earlier, when they show up, the majority of the work's done just because they want it, and they'll stop at nothing to get it. Because they want to be healed. They want to walk in forgiveness and freedom. And as long as you want it, it's there for you. There shouldn't be anything holding you back. And so sometimes we need someone to help us hacking up and the coughing and doing that inner work. Like you would be taught to like go forth and do your own healing as well, the own inward checking and say, okay, is this here? Why is this there? This shouldn't be here. No. This isn't serving me, Yeah,
I'd like to add that I really encourage all my clients to do as much as possible for themselves. I want them to have the tools to do as much as possible for themselves. For example, everyone can learn the emotion code. Invest some time, a little bit of money, and you can learn. Or another thing that's very popular is EFT, Emotion Freedom Technique. A lot of people love that. That's another tool that people can use for themselves to help themselves. Another self-healing tool I like is a woman named Donna Eden. She's one of the pioneers of energy medicine. Donna Eden. She has this workout. She calls it the 10-minute energy workout. She has a video, and it's things you can do to bring yourself back into balance. So those are some things that I like. I like my clients to have tools to help themselves, and when they can't see their own eyeballs, then come see me.
Definitely. Is there any danger for someone who is trying this by themselves? They're trying to recreate maybe some of the things that we're doing right now, or they're trying to move forward. Can they get themselves in trouble? Like if you're trying to cast out demons, if you will, out of that are much stronger than you, or you know how to deal with, and you end up getting possessed, or that addiction jumping on you. I mean, there's a lot of fear of that in the charismatic circles and stuff. Is there any fear?
Yeah.
Should this be handled with care and respect, or is it, if you feel it calling you, like how does that work with respecting it and fear and in that regard?
Yeah, especially the piece in the realm of spiritual medicine with removing curses, entities, saboteur energies, all those things. You need to have the spiritual wherewithal. You need to have done your work. Yeah. That's true. That if you see something on TV and you haven't done the work and just want to jump into it, no. It's something that you need to be, as my mom would say, a spiritual warrior.
Yeah.
Have done the work.
Definitely. There's there's a scripture in the Bible where it talks about I think it's the 7 sons of Sceva, I think it is, who tried to cast out demons out of a man. That man was more stronger than them, and those demons, they couldn't cast them out. They said, Jesus I know, and Paul I know, but who are you? Like, we don't even know you. Like, you have to be walking in the spirit where they know who you are when you show up. Oh, Lord, this is the demon slayer, the demon hunter. When you show up, they know who you are, and they're going to listen, they're going to obey, just like they would Jesus. When Jesus showed up, they listened and obeyed. So there was a story where they showed up to cast these demons out. The demons mocked them, said, who are you? Nobody even knows you in the spirit. And so those demons in that person overpowered those guys, beat them up, and ripped their clothes off of them, sent them away naked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have to do your homework, and you have to know who you are and know that power and authority. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to done your spiritual work. Yeah.
So, Mark, I really enjoyed this episode, man. One more time, plug your website, what you have to offer for people can check you out, because I'm pretty sure reading these comments, people are going to be hitting you up. Yeah.
Okay. So my website is People and Pets Energetics. That's www.people and pets, PETS energetics, ENERGETICS.com. So also, if you just Google it, People and Pets Energetics, it'll take you to my website. You can also check out my Facebook business page for People and Pets Energetics. And if you like it, I post all sorts of cool stuff there. You can like it and just kind of check in at your convenience. And if you're coming through the show, let me know that you saw this and if you'd like to book a session.
Yeah, make sure you guys do that. Check out his work and good stuff. Mark, I appreciate it. We'll have to do it again soon, my friend. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Mark Hernandez, ladies and gentlemen. The energy, it enters me, vibrate at higher frequency, eliminate all doubt and unbelief. From within, I'm transformed mentally. Palms on the ground fall to my knees. I begin to sweat and feel the heat increase. Life in the tongue power when I speak. I feel it move from my head and down to my feet, and I'm ascending the ladder. The weight of your glory I never did fathom. When we're alone in the zone, I feel like I'm surrounded by light and there's nothing that matters. Look, these interdimensional beings, rebuking the demons that fleeing. Shamans and prophets believe in a realm that is so far beyond that of which we are seeing. Good stuff. That's what I'm talking about. This is it, man. I love it. I enjoyed it. I felt it. A lot of you guys in the chat have felt it. A lot of you guys listening on the podcast, wherever you are, you felt it. It's beautiful, right? Just take that deep breath in. Holy Spirit, peace, peace, peace. Right now, wherever you are, just take that peace with you. It's your inheritance. It's tangible. Nobody can take it from you. Nobody's giving it to you. No man can take it away. It's your inheritance. That's your peace, one with God, the sons and daughters of God. This is our right and our inheritance, man. Understand that, know it, walk in it. I'm just reading the chat here, and there's people coming in. I am acknowledging the chat. People are saying that they're wanting healing and they're wanting to talk to me and things like that. You know, I'm very busy, but I do make myself available. Especially within our Discord. We try to get into some prayer. We try to, it's a community. We're all here for one another. I'll go ahead and plug that. If you would like to connect with people, maybe you want healing, maybe you want prayer, you don't have the money to go purchase a service or anything like that, Discord is a free app. Join us on there, and that's where we get it in. So really cool people hanging out on Discord after the shows as well. So reading the comments as well, Jesse Lee says placebo has no effect on her. I don't think she felt the healing. I don't think she felt the energy. Placebo has no effect on her. That could be a problem. I think that the majority of this is the placebo effect. I think that Jesus used the placebo effect. I believe that what you expect is what you get. I believe people walking in faith understand that they expect it, they receive it. You expect it. There's nothing nobody can tell you to take that away. If you expect healing, nothing I can tell you, there's nothing Mark can tell you that's going to hinder healing. Or if you don't want it, there's nothing we can do to take it away. Kelly says hypnosis is placebo. Definitely. There's a lot of the placebo effect is deep. There's placebo studies. I mean, there's people who are sick and they give people with the same sickness, they give them pills, and most of these pills are just like sugar pills, and simply them taking that pill and thinking that they're going to be healed. When they take this pill, they're already like that much more likely to walk in healing because they believe it and they walk in it. There've been studies done on this. If we look at placebo, I like to call it the spirit of expectancy, of understanding. Like if we look at Nicodemus, if we look at the man in the Bible who Jesus was speaking in a house, and he was a paraplegic, and so he had people lift him up on the top of the house and tear the roof off to drop the man in, to lower the man in, so that Jesus would see him and heal him. Like they knew that if they got close enough to him, they would be healed. The woman with the issue of blood, it wasn't that Jesus sought her out of the crowd and made eye contact and embraced her. He's just walking by. This woman with the issue of blood, she's been bleeding for so many years internally. She knew that all she had to do was reach out, not even touch him. If I can just touch the hem of his garment, I'll be healed. And he had no idea. He's walking through a crowd. The lady touches him. Her faith made her well. He felt the virtue, the virya, energy, which is where we get the word kundalini, the virya, the virtue. He felt the virtue leave him, that energy, essence, and it healed her. He said, "Oh, who touched me?" And he's in a large crowd. Somebody touched me. He's being touched by a lot of people, brushing up his shoulders and, all this kind of stuff. He's a celebrity, essentially. But he felt someone touch him. Somebody reached through the crowd, and all I have to do is touch the hem of his garment, and I'll be healed. She understood. There's people touching him who were sick, who had ailments, who had diseases and demons or whatever. But this woman knew that all she had to do was touch the hem of his garment. It's just knowing, a spirit of expectancy, that I know when I show up, this is going to happen. That's your faith. That's the law of attraction, is knowing that it's going to happen. If I show up, this is going to happen. You call it law of attraction. I think a lot of this stuff works hand in hand. It's a process. Some of it ain't that easy. Some of it's instant. Confess it. I'm healed. I walk on. Some of that travailing, some of that crying, some of that screaming, the snot on your carpet, on the altar, crying at the altar for hours. I think some of us need that. I think sometimes that is needed. To release things. It's okay to grieve. Like, it's healthy. That's how you get that stuff out. It's okay to mourn. Get this stuff out, man. This stuff is traumatic we're dealing with. I mean, some cases, maybe the cigarette addiction doesn't leave by saying, okay, cigarette addiction, you don't serve me no more. Bye. Cleansed, healed, walking, forgiveness, bow. Who knows, man? Where did that comfort come from? Like, what happened to you when you were young? And it's just comments. I getting all these comments here. Like, what happened to you when you were young? It's habits that are formed from ungodly, unhealthy relationships, from bad, traumatic experiences that birth something in your life that is unhealthy. A cigarette addiction is comforting. Pornography addiction is comforting. It's a quick fix. It's easy. You don't have to work for it. Drug addiction, you don't have to work for it. Like drugs and Molly and all that stuff. I talked to all my friends who've done Molly and were addicted to Molly and stuff. It's just instant gratification. Everybody loves me. I'm good. And it's just rush of endorphins and dopamine and serotonin. You have to work for that stuff to be released in your body. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. Like, you have to work to enjoy life. This is not a free, it's not a given. It's not a free handout. We've been discussing this. Like, you want happiness, you want a great career, you want a great relationship. Like, you have to work for that stuff. It's not free. Everybody doesn't deserve it. It's your right. It's your inheritance, but you got to go get it. It'd be like the woman with the issue of blood. You got to go get it. Stop at nothing. Okay, this ain't going to work. What can I do? I did that. Didn't work. What else can I do? Try it out. Like, how many? I talked to people who have gone to all the healers, trying to find their answers. You know, they've spent a lot of money. They're trying to do it. They want healing. Stop at nothing, man. Don't stop. If that's what you want, pursue it. I think it's everybody's right. Inwardly, I feel like you deserve it, but if you don't go after it, you don't deserve anything. You have to go after that stuff. You have to pursue it. So the placebo effect, I believe it. The spirit of expectancy. I remember just even a couple years ago, going to a Todd Bentley conference, and I used to be one that made fun and mocked and made fun of those things, Todd Bentley and stuff. But he was going to be in Louisiana, so I went over there to visit my family, just me and a buddy of mine. And it's like, you know what? I can't go to church around here. Like, too many people know me. This podcast has gotten too big over the years. My renown precedes me locally. I'm a hermit for a reason. Like, I can't go out. I literally can't. People beg me to go to church and go do this. I go out, but as far as like going to the church realms and stuff, I can't. Do you know who's in your church? Do you know who that guy is? He's a witch. Like, all kind of weird stuff. Anyway, I wanted to go see Todd Bentley, and he was going to be in Louisiana, and we drove. It was like a 2.5 hour drive. Me and SA 115 Samuel, we're listening to worship there, and I knew that when I get there, that I'm going to encounter God. Like, I knew that I was going to encounter God. That I'm going there to do this. Nothing's going to stop it. I'm going to have a great time, and I got what I was looking for. That's how the universe works. You get what you're looking for. What are you looking for? Like, you could have been I could have been looking for anything. I could have went there to like expose that guy and like call out his flaws. And people do that. There's people who go there and stand up in the middle of this guy's sermon and call him out. You're not a man of God. You've fallen from grace. You know, all this kind of weird stuff or whatever. You find what you're looking for. If you're looking for peace, love, looking for God, happiness, you'll find it. If you're looking for the wrong in everyone, if you're looking to call out people's flaws and point out fingers and find dirt, you're going to find it. That's just how the universe works at the end of the day. I think he was saying, like, we always have to give these disclaimers because we're not in the medical industry. Like, people will be like suffering from like legit ailments that they need to go to the doctor over or take medicine or medication over. We feel that. People ask me all the time, like, hey, I'm on this medication. Should I stop? And we address that, you know what I'm saying? But we can't like legally tell you, hey, stop it, and then something happens, you know what I'm saying? But you have to seek medical attention, seek a professional. I got a little story for you. Just like I remember this stuff. I have a podcast, and I'll share this stuff. The learning curves, the good, the bad, the ugly. And this is how people think, you know what I'm saying? This is how I used to think, and this is how people think in the churches. And I'm ashamed of this, but it's a learning curve, I guess. Anyway, we were getting ready to go to church, and this was probably 2002, 2001. Getting ready to go to church, and a buddy of mine was walking down the street, and stopped. We driving past him. Said, hey man, what's up? He said, hey, you want to go to church with us? She's like, sure, man. Like, all right, jump on the back. He jumps on the back of the car. He just jumped on the back of the car, and I floored it. I think I was driving a Crown Vic. We bought a Crown Vic from a police auction. It was an old police car. They had the governor off of it and everything. Like, that thing got up and went. You pushed the gas. Wow, it was a cop car. We bought an old cop car. $1,500, I think it was. He jumps on the back. We floor it. And that joke, he goes flying off the back. Wow, rolling. We pick him up. His wrist is all bent, crooked, and he's scraped up, scratching and bleeding. He's like, oh man, I'm sorry, bro. Stupid. God, why'd I do that? Let's take you to church, man. We're going to let him pray for you at church. Oh, man, I might need to go to the doctor. I said, nah, let's go to church, bro. We're going to let him pray for you. Believe in faith. We're going to let him pray for you. Bring him to church. He's walking in there. wrist is all bent up and stuff, and take him in, and we're like having worship. We're in the front worshiping. We're young, naive, young and dumb, worshiping. And this guy's in the back. They're all like, "Hey man, what's wrong?" "Oh, I fell off the back of the car, man." Like, oh, I was like, they're like, "Derek, I think you need to take this guy to the hospital." Like, no, y'all pray, let's pray for him. The Lord will heal him. That's kind of faith that we had, but it was what you would call it biblically, zeal without knowledge. You have zeal, but you don't have the knowledge. I wanted to start a ministry a long time ago. I started a website called Zeal with Knowledge. That's what you're supposed to have. Don't lose your zeal because you get knowledge and your understanding. Have zeal with the knowledge. Chris Garner says, "Well, I have to admit, I smoked one during the healing." Hey, you got to admit it, sir. Well, I was saying, like, you have to, that voice that's there, though, right? I mean, we've been in those prayer circles. We've been in healing sessions where if someone's doing work, you admit that you have a problem, but you're not ready to let it go. And I'm not saying this is what's going on, Jesse Lee. I do see the comments back and forth, but I'm not saying this is what's going on. But there's times I'm speaking from experience. You're getting healing, but you know that I'm not letting this go. Like, hey, y'all, pray for this that's going on. People are praying. They're believing. You're like, I'm ready to go back to it. As soon as we're done, I can't wait. Inwardly. That's the voice. We're talking about identifying those voices of the strongholds. That's the voice. It's there. It's making itself known. You think it's you. It's a familiar spirit. You're familiar with it. It sounds like you. It's speaking in third person. Oh, we like this. Oh, we do this. Yeah, we like this. Yeah, we like that. We like the lie. We like porn. We like cigarettes. We like drugs. We like to get hammered. We like to sleep around. Now, hold on, who is this? I don't like that. Like, why do I like that? Start speaking in the third person. Catch it. Nip it in the bud. It's a great way to identify it. But you're not going to let it go. You're not going to get healing. You're not going to get into it, let that stuff go until you're ready. Like you were talking about contracts and believing stuff serves you. You got to learn from it. Learn from the addiction. Replace the addiction, right? I think I when I came out of the world and got into the church, we were just Holy Spirit driven. That's all we did. We were addicts. So my weed addiction, my drinking addiction, all that stuff was replaced with the Holy Spirit addiction. I was addicted to God, addicted to Jesus. And a lot of people, that's their story. And so everywhere we went, man, and it just like literally took the place of that. So where we would go to random people's houses who smoked weed, we'll say, we'll go there just to smoke with them. And we'll match them. Matching is when you smoke one of yours and they smoke one of theirs. Hey, you want to match me? Yeah, I'll match you. You smoke a joint, one of theirs, and you smoke one of yours, and you go on. So I found myself, and like we would go to other Christians' house because we're not hanging out with weed heads. We're not hanging out with alcoholics. We're hanging out with church folks. So we go to other church people's houses and they're hanging out. We're like, hey, y'all want to pray? Y'all want to pray? And they're like, sure. Some people will be against it. No, let's just do this. And we're trying to turn every hangout session into a prayer meeting. And we'd get there, we'd start praying. We'd pray for hours. People would get healed, falling out in the spirit. We're addicted to that euphoria that I was just speaking about, that Holy Spirit encounter. People are chasing that high. It's a high. It's a euphoria. And it replaced my weed addiction. It's a more healthier addiction, but at the end of the day, you can't be led by your emotions. You can't be led by your feelings. You can't be led by your stomach. Your God is your belly type deal. What makes you feel good, you do it. Sometimes truth doesn't make us feel good. Sometimes we have to go through the starving process of prayer and fasting. It says some of these demons only come out through prayer and fasting. Like I say, we have to give up what we think is good for God to give us something which is better, something great. So that's a part of it, man. I enjoyed this episode. We're an hour and 45 minutes into this. Really good guest. I was interested because we just did a show 2 weeks ago or so, maybe longer than that. Time's been flying, honestly. But we did a show with Nick Kadowski about the emotion code. So we're talking to this guy about the emotion code, but I didn't know that it goes deeper than just the emotion code. There's the body code. There's the ash work. I've never heard of that stuff. It's interesting, man. Everybody has their own take on it, but it's the same thing. It's the same energy. It's the same euphoria. It's the same healing. It's the same God. There is but one God. You know what I'm saying? If you're able to tap into that source, you can make stuff happen. So I enjoyed it. Have a concert coming up in what's the name of that city? It's in the middle of nowhere, guys, but it's off the interstate if y'all want to come. But it's a city called dang it, why is it jumping my mind right now? Let me find that city right quick, y'all, because I got it. Saucer. So it's spelled saucer, but it's Saucer, Mississippi. It's so funny. I used to deliver car parts out there. It's even a good ways away from me. I used to deliver car parts. It's in the middle of nowhere. We did a show there years ago when I was doing gospel rap, back in like 2012, I think it was, me and King James. So we're going to be going back there, doing a show. It's going to be good. Just a little building in the middle of nowhere. We're going to bring a light show and have a good time. So tickets are $5 at the door. It's August 18th. August 18th, Saucer, Mississippi. Everyone is invited. Everyone listening, for the album release, we had people come from all over the U.S., which was crazy. So yeah, if you guys want to hang out, we'll hang out in Mississippi and do our thing. It's the building is called Trinity 15, 7:00 p.m., $5 at the door. A couple other artists are going to be performing. Be Fabulous, Yosemite, and my boy Justin Caldwell. He'll be performing as well. We got a new song that's available on Patreon. So you guys heard the new Patreon song that me and Justin have together. We're going to do that. I think we're going to close the set out with that new song. So y'all be listening, learn the lyrics, learn the words, and y'all come sing along with us and have a good time. So that being said, we have School of the Mystics tonight. If you're listening live, it's Thursday night, 7 p.m. We're going to send out the links for people to join us via Patreon. You're going to get that link to join us for the School of the Mystics tonight, 7 p.m. Central. We're going to hang out. We're going to do our thing, and what we do. You get access to all that by becoming a patron, anywhere from $1 up, whatever you can do. If you believe in my work, I ask you to support any level of giving, and I'll make this thing possible. So thank you guys who have been supporting. You rock. You're awesome, each and every one of you guys. The names that are on the screen at the bottom, scrolling across the podcast, or on my website, they're in the CDs. That's my tribe. I love you guys. We'll do it again. If you want to hang out with us off air, that is in the Discord. The link is in the description, and we'll do it again. So with that, I'm going to be saying peace and shalom, and see you guys very soon. Shalom, shalom.
Your way so much higher than mine, so much higher than mine, so much deeper than mine, so much deeper than mine.
Well, that does it for this episode, folks. To hear more episodes of the TruthSeekah podcast, head over to TruthSeekah.com. And if you're wanting to support the show and get rewards, go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/TruthSeekah.